What's going on today, guys? Primal Sabbath here, and today for the Action Figure Saturday review, we're going to be taking a look at something that's a little bit easier to acquire and a little bit cheaper compared to the dime novels Badlands Vigilante, and this is from Hiya Toys. You can find them on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. They have some kind of awesome licenses, and they're doing these 1/18 scale, kind of 3 3/4 inch scale figures. They've got a couple of the Injustice characters from the game. Like I think they've got Batman, Superman, Aquaman, I think, and I think they've got like a. I didn't play Injustice, so I'm going to be a little ignorant on my terminology here, but I think like powered up or supered up forms of Superman and Batman. They look actually a little more evil. But I kind of saw all that, but I saw the Red Hood, and I'm not a super huge DC fan. Just going to go ahead and get that right out there. This is my only DC figure. And now, I've always kind of liked Batman the animated series and stuff like that, so I probably will double back and buy a Batman. But they also do Predator, Alien, stuff like that. So there's a couple of Predators I'm looking into. And if it would be 1/18 scale, I would think that Predator would probably be closer to, like, say, 4.5 to 5 inches, maybe somewhere around there. Because I know Predators are typically bigger than humans. So I'm definitely looking into some of those. It's basically like they're taking that reanimation scale that I've been loving and giving it like modern articulation. And holy cow, is it some modern articulation. So let's set the figure off to the side real quick. This is ultimately how I have it displayed, as far as hands, accessories, and things of that sort. So we'll set them off to the side. It can be a little trouble to stand, but once you kind of get it just right, it's fine. And it comes in a pretty nice box like this. It's just taped up. You get some stuff on the back. Again, if you want to follow Hiya Toys on Twitter and Facebook, they do put that on the back of their boxes. This is really cool, but they do have licenses and things of that sort from them. You got some product shots back here. This is awesome, man. I reached out to them on Twitter and I was like, they're changing the game in 1/18 scale, and I fully believe that. And I hope they get the Marvel license, because Hasbro isn't doing anything with Marvel in 3 3/4 inch, and somebody really should. But pretty straightforward as far as like the insert goes. You get a pretty sweet little background piece here, if that's your thing. I think that's just a demolished Daily Planet, which is pretty neat. But it just kind of serves as packaging background for me. But you get this clamshell, and in the clamshell, if you're better at opening it than I am, it kind of all fits really nicely together. All right, there we go. Let's open it up. We get a very tiny closed fist. As you can see that, I think that's for his. It's actually not closed. It's meant for the knife, but we'll get there when we get there. And then you also get another kind of open hand that's gonna be for what I'm calling a bouncing Betty. I don't know exactly what this little bomb thing is, but it definitely looks like a bomb, and this hand is meant to hold this, albeit somewhat loosely, but it can still hold it nonetheless, and that's really all that counts. He also comes with this looks like a smoke grenade. In the package right here. It's taped up. I'm not going to take it out. I don't feel like taking it out. But it looks kind of like what would be a smoke grenade or a flashbang. He comes with the knife, which I do already have on it. We'll take a look at that later. And he comes with the 2 pistols, which again are already on him. We'll take a look at that later. He also comes with a stand, and in this stand it only has a single pegging point. I don't know what any of this is. I'm sure someone who plays Injustice probably could tell me. Again, I don't know, but it's molded in this flat black. We got some stamp stuff on here. Characters, elements, DC Comics, Warner Brothers. Okay, yeah. So all that other stuff. And then it's got this nice, beautiful, just kind of airbrushed over metallic, almost kind of chrome-like purple, which just looks really good. And then these little pieces right here, these little H pieces, they are stand connectors, and they slot in there. So if you have multiples of these things, you probably set up a pretty cool like battle scene, fight scene, or whatever like from the video game, and I think that's awesome. You know, just little stuff like that, stuff they didn't have to include or incorporate in with the release, but they did anyways, and I think that's super awesome. So let's get this all boxed, all closed back up again, and get it out of the way. And let's take a look at the Red Hood himself. Again, I've dig this aesthetic of the Red Hood, Jason Todd. I liked the movie, the animated movie, I should say, where he was kind of terrorizing Bruce over the Joker and stuff like that, and just the choice that Batman ended up making in that movie was, it was pretty interesting. But again, I really do like this. This guy is painted all over. So the jacket is sculpted in this sort of brown, and it's nice, and it's rubbery. You also get kind of like a black wash on the front. Nothing, well, a little bit, I guess, kind of on the back. Nothing too, crazy or what have you. But again, you get the kind of buckle and little neck belt, I guess, painted around up front. And the head itself is just detailed so nicely. You get the silver paint apps on like the cheeks and the head, and it goes all the way around. And it kind of also has a very sort of dirty wash to it. It's hard because the lights that I'm using are sort of reflecting off of that red noggin, but it looks really good. And honestly, I can't remember if I just called this guy the Red Skull or the Red Hood, but I definitely mean Red Hood, so you'll have to forgive me there. Also, he's got the silver painted on the armor pieces on his torso. As far as any armor pieces back here, I don't think he has any, but and it's all just kind of bland. You can get up in there. I mean, it really doesn't matter because this whole jacket piece kind of stays here. All of this web gear, though, is all part of, and I don't know if it moves independently or if it's glued on, but it's a very intricate system of belts and holsters and pieces. So speaking of holsters, let's go ahead and get one of these little pistols out so we can take a look at that. There we go. The pistol is painted very nicely. It's sculpted very nicely too, and even down to like the kind of gold here on the bottom, and just some other details that maybe my camera's picking up, like the grip is sculpted. All this is sculpted. All this is painted. This looks super nice. I mean, this is, it's incredible for $20 plus shipping. And I got it from Big Bad Toy Store. I should probably say that. So again, you got some really good pant sculpting down here on the legs. Again, the belts, all the buckles and clips and all that are all painted. The holster, at first, I didn't know I was going to like it, even though, and by the way, we do get some paint on that holster. It's kind of loose, and you can see it kind of flops open, and I wasn't super sure about that, just because, like, the holsters I'm used to are for, like, on G.I. Joes from Hasbro, and, the Dime Novel Legends, Badlands Vigilante, like his holster, being solid pieces of plastic. I really like that, but, like, there's really no way that these guns are going to like come out or fall out. They sort of hold, and it allows you to sort of really get in there and get it out. But like, even if you push this all the way down, which that may be how it's supposed to be anyways, I don't know, but it allows, if you want to kind of get a sort of wide kick out on this joint, or even if you want to kind of go a little more forward with it, you have the options of doing so. And the gun being in the holsters does not limit that articulation, which I really do like. Kind of coming down here, we have, this is the knife that I was telling you about. So there's the knife in the holster, and this is just crazy. But this little knife even comes out, and it's painted too, and it's, sculpted accurately. Like, this is incredible. So slide that back into there. I just think that's awesome. Now, for some of the kind of standard articulation. The head and the neck is kind of like on this sort of double ball thing. So it seems like there's a ball either in the chest, or the neck itself is the ball that's plugged into the socket in the chest. But then you also get the ball joint up here in the, let's get this collar out of the way. in the actual head itself, so you get any kind of range of movement you need out of it, but you kind of get that dual ball peg action, which I really do like. In the chest, we have a rotation, and it looks like this may just be kind of a ball and socket thing too, but you do get a little bit of movement. You get some backwards, you get a little bit of forward. It's nothing much, but it's just enough, and you get the rotation. It's just enough if you need to do like some kind of a crazy pose. You also get, again, kind of similar to the Dime Novel Legends, you get this joint in here that allows the side to side and the front and back. Again, very ball joint like in comparison. Hinge, you got, I mean, just really standard arms. No butterfly or anything like that. If it would have had a butterfly, that would have been game changer. And just a single elbow. And what's interesting that sets this aside from like other toys, instead of the kind of peg and hinge assembly, you get a ball peg on the wrist and the socket inside of the hand. This side rather, it pops off a little easier than the other side for me. Like this side is just a little bit tighter, but it's not, I mean, it really is a non-issue. Messing with it, kind of trying to, we can just go ahead and do it right now. Sometimes trying to get the guns in hand will cause it to pop off, or if you're just trying to kind of pose the guns in the hand, it'll pop off. But it's real easy to sort of get back on there. Again, you saw just how easy that was, but it stays, it holds whatever poses you need it to, and you kind of get, for the most part, all the best parts of having up and down or side to side wrist swiveling action. But he holds the guns very well. Again, between like the finger goes into the trigger guard perfectly, and they kind of grip the stocks down here. So I do like that. These pieces, these shoulder pad pieces, or elbow pads, I should say, they're loose. I managed to kind of get them. I say loose. They're free moving is what I really should say. But if you want to remove them, you can. If you want to kind of move them around, you can. They're there just to please you aesthetically, which ultimately, like, that's what matters, right? So again, we saw the sort of waist swivel here, and it's not really hindered by any of this web gear, which I think is awesome. You get outward at the hip, you get forward, and then you kind of, again, it kind of acts like a universal, like on some of the old Marvel Universe toys, but it's just much better done. But because of the cut, you kind of have to get it at a turn like that. If you want it straight up, that's really about all you're going to get out of it, and not too terribly much backwards just because of that ass. So there's that. Standard double knee, so you do get that. And then you got a rotation here at the boot that you couldn't see, and you got up and down here at the foot, and then you got ankle rockers. So really awesome. This is another one, again, like I took some pictures and posted them on Twitter. You can actually get him drawing his pistols if you want to. And speaking of like stuff, if you just want crazy A-stance poses, you can get them without the stand, which is just plain amazing. So as you can see there, I don't even use the stand. I don't even mess with it. Don't bother with it. Don't need to bother with it. It's just impressive, the amount of balance this toy has. I did also take some pictures and put them on Twitter of the just the poses that he could hold. Like, you can get him on one foot doing some like proper balance. And anybody who collects like not only just 1/18th scale, but like even 1/12th, 6-inch toys and stuff like that, it's hard to get these figures to balance on 2 feet, let alone on one. But this guy will actually hold a pose on one foot, one leg, whatever. So there is that. Now, some worries that I do have in the future, because this web gear is all pretty thin, and again, it is free moving. It's not like glued in at any point, so it really does just move to wherever you want it to move to. I kind of have a fear that just too much manipulation of putting the guns in the holsters or posing in general may cause a snap or a rip or a tear or just some kind of breakage in general. In which case it may be a little difficult to super glue those pieces to the figure. But other than that, like, I don't, like, I don't think it's going to be an issue for me personally, or just for any other kind of adult or young adult collector, things of that sort. So, and again, we kind of got them standing just fine here. So there's that. But yes, super impressed with this offering from Hiya Toys. I am going to definitely pick up some more of these, especially at the cost. It's just too good not to. You know what I mean? Like, these this figure was $20 before shipping. Like, it's almost impossible not to want to just get more, especially if it's, Batman characters and stuff like that. Video games, I would love it, man. I was like, I'd really love if they would do some of the Marvel toys, but, especially the Ultimate Alliance 3 that's coming out soon. But I really hope they also get some of the more, current comic book designs, or even some other video game stuff like Assassin's Creed and Halo, what's the company? It doesn't matter. I talked them up because I think they were really good figures too. But they're doing like some of the Assassin's Creed stuff. But they're doing Fortnite, and they ended up just kind of giving up on Assassin's Creed, it seems. But real quick, just as a kind of size comparison, there we have Wolverine. So there's that. We got Captain America, which again I feel works scale wise, just as far as like 1/18 goes. And then even though he's on a stand. Matter of fact, I'll just take him off the stand. The Badlands Vigilante. So again, I feel like this is a pretty good. Well, he was standing. There we go. Well, now he's slouching. Come on. There we go. Okay, so again, as far as 1/18 representation goes, I do feel like this is pretty darn good. I think this is very close and very accurate. So again, I'm gonna pick up the Batman. I'm gonna look into see which Predators they do have made and go after some Predators. But the Hiya Toys, man, is a solid recommend from me. If you haven't, definitely I would jump on it. I think they're awesome. Definitely worth the indulgence. So that's it for this. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment box. I'll do what I can to answer them. And thank you all for watching. I'll catch you later.